coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey man, shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Boom, 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 boom. She coming back. She coming back. Big love to everybody who support me, everybody who support the movement, everybody that support the TBP Nation, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Can't do it without you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Helps the channel. We lost a few people, but hey, man, we pushing on, man, because everybody who want to be here is supposed to be here. You heard me? So we ain't crying over spoiled milk. We just gonna get another glass. So let's go. Let's get it. Make sure you get that membership, man. We getting ready to light it up over there, man. We gonna have guests over there. We gonna be talking about exclusive stories over there. Plus, you already know Stay Cold Banky over there. So we ain't cutting no corners and we ain't cutting no words. We giving it to you straight, raw dog, no chase. If you ain't ready for it, stay over here. You dig? Let's go, man. Let me see, man. I wanted to talk to you today about, man, just thinking about things recently. My biggest regret in prison, man, after doing 33 years. And I thought about that because somebody asked me that. And, you know, now looking back on it, when it's all said and done, man, I really, truly think my biggest regret in doing time in prison, man, was not getting into them programs or getting into that law library soon enough. I eventually got into programs, but to be honest with you, I didn't even really get into programs, man, until, man, I think like the 2000s, man. 2000s, like probably like 2002, 2003. I'm thinking, no. Well, yeah. No, I got to back it up because I did get into, in 99, I think the first program I got into, or what do they used to call it, something else, not just program, but I think the first one I got into, the first course that I took was brick mason, right? And I took that brick mason, I think in 99, I think I took the brick mason on Powhatan. I took that, you know what I'm saying? So I learned how to, you know, lay bricks and stuff like that. But for the most part, prior to that, man, it was just about adjusting and doing time, man, and getting acclimated to, you know, prison life, man, because it's an extreme culture shock. Extreme culture shock. You understand? Because you seeing so much and you want to be focused. You want to know what's going on. So I used to see the dudes going to programs all the time, taking this course, taking that course, you know, going here, taking these classes. And I was always interested, but I was like, boom, I was focused. And then to be honest with you, I was focused on doing time, but then I got focused on surviving and making money, and I'm gambling and I'm, you know, doing all of this stuff to make money, getting, you know, packages in and, you know, flipping money and stuff, man, thinking that this is the way to really do time. When the truth of the matter is, I've always seen dudes in prison, even from the beginning. It was law library dudes. Y'all might call them jailhouse lawyers or whatever, but these dudes stayed in the law library. They would stay trying to fight their case. They would stay trying to find loopholes in their case and stuff like that. Now looking back on it, man, in my opinion, I feel 100% that is the best thing to do when you go to prison. Also, you gotta, I mean, it goes without saying, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta, you know, work out. You got to work out. You got to be prepared for whatever war might come to you by way of inmate, convict, or administration. You have to work out. You have to be physically fit, and you have to be ready for war. But besides that, I think you need to be checking on these laws too, man, because a lot of us is over sentenced. A lot of us is excessively sentenced. A lot of us have loopholes in our case. I think it's loopholes in every case. Be it if you even wrong or right, there's always a loophole in your case, because you got to think by the standards of law, you got to be 100% right. You got to do everything in that court of law 100% right, from paperwork to wording to everything. And I didn't know these type of things, and I think a lot of dudes, man, that go to prison, man, they just accept their sentence and they accept whatever time they give them, and they do like I did, start looking to the end date, the release date, the parole date, and that's all you see, trying to make it to that date, trying to, focus. I gotta survive for 10 years, or I gotta survive for these 12 years. That's what you get focused on. And I think that makes you drop the ball, because you could be focused on trying to shorten that time up by getting in the law library, by learning out about these laws, man, and these changing laws, and these uh retro laws, this retroactive to your case, to your charge. And man, that could be all the difference in the world, man. And I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. Who knows? Maybe I could have got out of prison earlier. Maybe I could have ducked a whole lot of them hooks. Who knows, man? So I regret not doing that, man, and I regret not taking advantage of all the opportunities that was afforded to me. Because when I first went to prison, you could literally sign up and get college courses for free. You could get college courses. They was giving you grants to take college courses and get college credits and stuff like that, man. Education, you could get it for free. You know what I'm saying? And then later on, you like people who didn't have their GEDs or high school diplomas and things like that, they could go to school. That still applies. They could go to school and they can get paid for that. They give them, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I think like $20 a month or something, just for going and trying to get your education. But I had already had it, high school diploma and everything, so that didn't apply to me. But I could have took them college courses, and got that under my belt and learned a few things. I could have took a lot more what's the name programs, man. I could have took a lot more of them vocational. That's what they call vocational programs. I could have took a lot more of them. Like when I took the brick mason, I should have been in all of these courses, because later on, as time went on, doing my bit, you couldn't even get in these classes like talking about no more, because the list was so long. And when you sign up, you go right to the back of the list. Furthermore, which is it's unfair in prison, if you ask me, if you got a life sentence or more, they gonna put you at the back of the back of the back of the list, because they feeling like you ain't getting out. You don't need this. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy to me. That's crazy. You can't even better yourself in that aspect based upon how much time that you got. They won't even allow you to. You know what I'm saying? Like in the later parts of the 2000s, man, you try to get in a class like brick mason or custodial maintenance or HVAC or graphic design or any of them type of classes like that, man, and you got a life sentence, or you got uh 40, 50 years under the new law, man, and you going on a waiting list about 400, 600. You ain't getting in there. They basically telling you not getting in there. Then you'll see somebody that got 4 or 5 years or 6 years come straight in there, sign up for the class, and be in the class in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of things that was afforded to me that I dropped the ball on, man, that I could have used to better myself and better prepare myself for coming out here. Just like now, not knowing everything about these computers and stuff. They had, computer classes in there. I took graphic design, but to be honest with you, we weren't really on the computer like that, and it was more about drawing and architecture and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And before I actually finished the class, I ended up, getting in some situation where I got locked up or whatever. But prior to that, the dude the graphic design teacher that I had, he had got caught up in some stuff, and they shut the whole class down. And it took a long time for them to reopen it. By the time they reopened it and I got back into class with a whole different teacher, I ended up getting in a situation where I got locked up, and then you couldn't get back into class. You get charged, they're gonna take you out of class. You go back to the back of the line. So that was crazy within itself. But I think though, man, that's a big that's a big mishap on a lot of people to get locked up, just accepting your time and not using all of the things that's afforded to you, man. And man, that could have, because I know dudes that got in that law library. Let's like I just introduced y'all to Itchy Black. If it don't be for Itchy Black staying in that law library, being diligent, being steadfast on trying to, find something in his case, he wouldn't be on the streets today. I told you, you just said it. He told you he won't scheduled to get out until 2060 something. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up doing like 25, 26 years due to the diligence of him going in that law library and finding, something in this case that was afforded him to get a pardon. You know what I'm saying? So you can literally save your life in prison. You know what I'm saying? If you sentenced to a death sentence or a sentence that's so long that, presumably you will be dead, you know what I'm saying, before you can finish the time, you can literally save your own life if you just get in there and do what you got to do, which I think wakes up a whole lot of other things in people too, saying then if it's loopholes in the case, then that's just another way to prove that the justice system is unjust, man. Because if you can find a loophole, they know it was a loophole, and they just don't care, and they still will sentence you to whatever they sentence you to, and let you sit in the penitentiary and rot and die. So yeah, man, that's a big regret of mine, but I can't do nothing about it because it's over. But that's why I'm doing this video, because it might help somebody else, that's getting locked up. It might help somebody else that might already be locked up. It might help somebody who got some family that can tell their family members, hey, look, check into this. And we could do it on the street as well. Check into our people's cases and do some research and get people to look at it. Man, because man, you could get yourself out of prison, man, because they make so many mistakes, man. There's so many things that's not um accurate in your case, man, and accurate in your paperwork, that those things can get you back in court, man, and also can win your freedom back. But when you young and you coming in the penitentiary, you see so much violence and you see so much chaos and confusion, and you see how much time you got, you so locked in on trying to survive and trying to find your own space, man, and you ain't paying attention. And you seeing these dudes every day. I see them every day. And when they call movement or whatever, these dudes is got their books and got their paperwork, and they going to the law library and they go and take these programs and they go and do all this stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm gambling, and you know what I'm saying, I'm running the stove box, and I'm thinking that I'm surviving in prison when really I'm just waiting, you know what I'm saying, to just make it to another day, and waiting to die, because I ain't had no release date. Don't know if they ever gonna release me, and my brain was locked in on that, where survive right now. You know what I'm saying? Just make it to tomorrow, make it to another day. When in actuality, I could have been putting all of that work in that I had on the poker table and gambling. I could have been putting all of that work in and all of my efforts in the law library and trying to get out of prison, trying to find a hole in my case, trying to find, you know what I'm saying, something that would have freed me up even sooner. I could have been doing that, but I wasn't doing that, and I regret that, because when it came down to it at the end, shout out to Paul Taylor. When Paul Taylor opened the blueprint up, when he created a program, and that program, subsequently, played a major role in him getting out of prison. You understand me? And they started giving parole out more and more based upon him getting out and doing the things that he was doing. People started making parole all of a sudden. And then I got busy. I got focused. I saw an avenue, I saw a window, and I went in there and I created my own program, and I had to try to create a way because I saw a way. So I think a lot of times too, it depends on what we're looking at, man, and what would spark us. And that sparked me because by now I had been in penitentiary, you know what I'm saying, almost 30 years. So, you're talking about doing 33. And then when I got busy and got diligent and trying to get out, trying to really find an avenue myself, and not sitting here waiting for these people to open the door for me, not sitting here waiting for these people to give me parole, I eventually got out 3 years later. So looking back on that in retrospect, I'm saying, man, what if I would have applied myself as much earlier? What could the results have been? What could, what could have been changed, or shortened in my time? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. And when you go through things like what I just went through, you know, when it tests your mortality, man, then you start looking at things like that, because we don't know how much time we got left on this earth. We don't have a clue. And then I got to look at the time that I wasted. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look at that. The time that I wasted. I tell y'all all the time, time is the most valuable commodity on earth. Do not waste it. You know what I'm saying? Do not put more value on how you spend your money. Put more value on how you spend your time. Time can make you more money. Money cannot buy you more time. You understand? And we tend to do that. We count every dollar, but we don't count every minute. You understand what I'm saying? We count every dollar, but we don't count every minute. Every minute counts. And you can't be just sitting around doing nothing, or just sitting around, spending more time just doing nothing than you supposed to be doing something. You can't do that. You have to balance that out, man, and the balance got to be uneven. You got to be spend more time doing something productive, doing something that's progressive to what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, than you are just your leisure time. You have to do that, man. And man, that was a big. I mean, thank God in the squad that I made it through. But man, looking back on my time, that was a big faux pas, man. That was a big that was a big fail for me right there, man. And I ended up taking classes and courses. Like I say, I took the brick mason, I took the the brick mason, the barbering. I already knew that, but I just took it just to get the license. The brick mason, the barbering, the graphic design, custodial maintenance. What else I took? It's one more. It took like, but you got to think, in 33 years, I took like five courses. You know what I'm saying? I know dudes in there that took every course that was afforded to them from the beginning. I know dudes in there that got in that law library from day one. I've seen a lot of dudes walk themselves out of prison, shorten their sentence by being in that law library. I seen a lot of dudes stayed in the law library and it ain't doing no good personally for their own case. But I seen them find stuff for other people's cases and get other people out, shorten other people's time. You understand? And they turned that into a hustle because they get paid for it. Dudes will tell them, man, look, man, this about my case. I got my transcript, woo, and give it to them, whatever. And they'll go in that law library, man, and they'll find things, and they'll file 1983 forms. They'll file writ of habeas corpus and get dudes out of prison, man. Change dudes' whole lives. You know what I'm saying? So that's amazing, if you ask me, man. That's amazing. Dudes are that sharp. When you motivated, you can do a lot of things, man. And I felt like I should have been more motivated to get out instead of waiting. You don't wait for somebody to dictate your fate. You don't wait for somebody to, make the biggest and the most major decisions of your life. You have to take control. You can't be a passenger in your own destiny, man. You have to be the driver, man. You have to be the driver. And we let that time that they give us in court, man, we just lock in and dictate that, okay, well, this is what I gotta do because they said so. Because they said so. They took your fate in their hand when they sentenced you. Now you have to take it back when you get sentenced and get in there and get active in trying to get out, man. And yeah, I should have did that, man. I should have did that. And I know I can't go back in time, but I'm making this video and I'm saying this for people who just, getting some time, some people who just got locked up, some people who that's in your family or that that you might can pass this information on to. You tell them to get in that law library. You tell them not to accept that is their destiny, man. You tell them to take everything that these people have to give you, that they have to offer you in terms of resources and programming and anything that'll uplift your mental and reading and all that. You got to take advantage of all those things, man, if you really and truly and sincerely trying to get back out here on these streets, man. You have to do that. You know what I'm saying? You cannot accept that, man. A lot of times we get a death sentence, man, and we just get in the penitentiary. We just said, I'm going to survive. I'm going to go hard. I ain't going for nothing. I'm going to do whatever. I don't care if I got to take life or get my life taken, but I'm going to stand on this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And you never even consider the fact that, well, I'm also going to be trying to get out of here. Not trying to make it to the date that they gave me, but get in here and see if I can find something, a loophole, a little crack, a little sliver, a little chink in the armor to get me up out of here. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that, man. You got to do that because these people is giving out time that is not even realistic. A life sentence, 2 life sentences, 3 life sentences, 5, 6 life sentences. I mean, you ain't never known nobody to live 6 lifetimes. You ain't never known nobody live 2 lifetimes. So how you gonna give that type of sentence? And we as the public, we accept that as sufficient because this is what been placed on our plate and given to us. It ain't no such thing. That right there show you the ridiculousness in the justice system. To give somebody 2 life sentences, who you know living 2 lifetimes. Just say that you want them to die in prison and just say a death sentence or just say they never getting out. But all of that extra numbers and all of that crazy stuff, that don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? That don't even make any sense at all, man. But this is what they do to us and we accept it. You know, but we got to stop accepting, man, and start rejecting some of this stuff that they put in front of us and try to force feed it to us, man, because you know, it's our life, man, and we ain't gonna live but one time, man, and we gotta act like we really value that, man, and we really want that. And then when we get an opportunity, we gotta take it, you know, advantage of it, man, and run with it, you know. And thank God for second chances. Thank God for you know, getting me to the point where I could get out here and try to spread this message, man, because it's vital. It's vital, man, and it's imperative that we understand this, man, that our life is in our own hands, and we just can't accept when anybody else impose on us, man. We have to do our best. You know, we did what we did to get ourselves in these situations, and we need to do whatever we can do to try to get ourselves out of these situations. So, yeah. So, to answer that question, man, and yeah, that's probably my biggest regret in doing 33 years of prison was not being active and proactive enough about trying to get out. I should have been that from day one. Once I got in there and seen how horrible the conditions was, how horrible the situation was, I should have been motivated to try to get out of that situation instead of motivated to survive that situation. That is the key difference right there. So, we live and we learn only if we lucky. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man, in the comments. Talk to me. I talk back. We're going to get back to the story times, man, in a minute, but I had to get that up off of my chest. You know, I'm thinking a little different now from what I just went through, so it might be some things that come out every now and then, but I'm still going to drop y'all that bomb. I'm still going to let y'all know how horrible it is, and there I'm still going to give y'all them stories. I'm still going to bring it to you the way you're used to getting it, but I got to drop some jewels in here, too. In the meantime, in between time, y'all be safe, be smart, make good decisions, duck them hooks, check your health. Your health is your wealth, and stay focused, man. They stay focused. They not playing out here, man. They not playing out here, and they rather see you in there. Pac said it best, man. They want to see us all in jail than doing swell, where only few of us will live to tell. I'm blessed to be one of the few. Salute, y'all be safe, be smart, make good decisions, duck them hooks, man. Peace. We out of here.
The banking special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality. You know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.